Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing endurance test in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against Czech Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must take in all food from my micro bag into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering outlet will be shut. So no rancid burgers or cartons of flat Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside a ground floor with supporter wrapped in Scotland flag looked like a tempting alternative. But when I suggest to a steward that might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you're going to, she says. They will see you coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the book bag A4 side that I'm clutching? I have given my spare ticket to Rear Scott. My friend Alistair is from Edinburgh, so also now 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide take your device and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter Faye in the largest tartan suit I ever seen, including a tiny tartan clasp bag. I pose for the photo with it and they tells me, I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar European tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. English football team and national football team are symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for Scotland is independence. For England, it is race. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar European tournament, Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it. No. The English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism. But each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Pree Patel, defended the protesters, are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxists of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, accused the player of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team, whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the game, are now being asked to react Home Secretary. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the clashing with the England team. Last year, it went down to an economist debate when it took a Margaret Thatcher over the extension of free school meals for poor families. Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Westport preparation for 2020 included a Zoom call with Barack Obama. While plenty of tourists are prepared to grumble about work in Westport, none are willing to take him in public. The culture wars of football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game. They were also booed by the crowd. The Russians also protested against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for Euro 2020, had defended a fan who visiting team that saying that Hungary sees the gesture as a provocation. Orban himself, a right-wing provocateur, who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warning about elder dangerous Europe being flooded by Muslims. But even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about football taking the knee. One prominent thinker in Britain laments to me that football is mere political sport, but not the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means this year's tournament. It never really brings back memories of Euro 96. When England also played their games at Wembley and the whole country did seem to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium, all joined in the singing of the Lions, football's coming home. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowd actually bring the players. By somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the team was never mixed up with politics or race is an illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of authoritative hooligans and far-right supporters whose trademark chant is no surrender to RA. At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, if you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television. Before growing in 1970, Walsall Ware saw the most overt racism that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players, black Bibles, and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side will want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing police input on the public space. The police, particularly the racial police, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government as Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independent referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local paper full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed school staff lessons to allow the kids to allow the kids to allow the kids to allow the kid to watch the game against Czech lives as a visiting English fan. I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland. In big international tournament. I had little options since England failed to qualify for As a visiting English fan, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournament. I had little options since England failed to qualify for the World Cup in 1974 and 1978. But British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem play for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was God Save the King, although two recordings do not show the Scottish play looking particularly delighted. Today, the team will be belting out Lord Scotland loud enough to drown out the conversation. The team will be belting out Lord Scotland loud enough to drown out the conversation. With the stern word, God Save the King. Today, the crowd and team will be belting out Lord Scotland loud with the stern word that we can still rise and beat the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1974, God 3. There were more than 90,000 people in Southampton, but today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty bland, lonely in the stand. Even if the Tartan army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions, they built up lost Scotland, loud enough to drown our conversation. The team started the game with all the expected passion and stream forward. Their captain, Daryl Robertson, can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the Czech score, and they are sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, which I choose spend in the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampton. There's a hopeful chatter around the that Scotland might still be able to turn this round. But early in the second half, football history is made by the Czechs. Petushik, the team center forward, gets the ball on the halfway line and floats the ball over the Scottish goalkeeper into the net. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent, apart from a tiny group of cheering Czechs on the other side of the stadium, and a group of children near me who continue happily shouting for Scotland. While the other around them was frozen in horror. After the match, Alistair reminds me that Scottish fans are used to bitter disappointment. Making the national football team a symbol of nation is double-edged sword. We imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating with the fans, but what if your goalkeeper floundering fell on his back and tangled them in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setback for two football-mad populist leaders. Orban gave permission for a capacity crowd to attend Hungary's opening game in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0. Recep Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor next to the Azer prison, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Wales. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots. Just slightly later in the day. The England team also have a habit disappointing their most ardent fan. The side are portrayed as embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics: courage, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Jonathan Liu in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in the tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might even be bottles. And they all have said the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve when they take a lead. If Gareth Southgate, the England manager, can somehow break this cycle and turn England into a winning outfit, he will inadvertently provide a huge boost to the Johnson government that is desperate for symbol of the success of Brexit Britain. But Southgate has subtly but unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government, taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has continually defended their right to make statements on subjects other than football. It has become accepted wisdom in Britain that cultural wars always work better for the right than the left, but football may be an exception. A poll taken across Europe before in 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England team keep winning, the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. But once the right may find itself on the wrong end of the culture war, for the duration of Euro 2020, I will care much less about who wins the culture war than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots, just slightly later in the day. On the other hand, this is a weird tournament. It's taking place in the middle of a pandemic. The stadiums are quarter full and England are playing half decently. I am allowing myself to afford the weirdest outcome of the lot, an England victory.